Buongiorno, Tutorini. It's Tutor Pat here with another quick hit. This one about lines and perpendicular lines. So, what is a line? How do we define it? Well, a line is a one-dimensional figure with no thickness that extends infinitely in both directions. So, a line, by definition, goes on forever in both directions. It has no thickness. It exists in only one dimension. Now, if I have an endpoint, and then the line proceeds from that endpoint, we call that a ray. If I have two endpoints and the line exists between them, we call that a segment. Now, lines, in addition to having these three forms, have three chief characteristics which are worth investigating. The first is only one line can pass between any two distinct points. This we can kind of illustrate pretty self-evidently by throwing a couple points here and then just imagining how many lines. Well, there's just one line is going to pass through those. The second characteristic of lines is that two lines intersect at most at one point. A clear way of saying that is if two lines are going to intersect, they're only going to intersect at one place. Again, we can look at this example. Here's our first line. We'll call that L1. And then I'm going to imagine a second line that we'll call L2. And we notice that they only intersect one place, a single intersection, where the x value of line 1 equals the x value of line 2, and the y value of y1 equals the y value of y2. That's why we say intersection, when we're doing linear algebra, intersection means equal. The two lines equal each other at that point. And it only happens one place. The third characteristic about lines is if two lines intersect at 90 degrees, they are perpendicular. So let's imagine two lines. Here's one, and here's another. And they form right angles here, 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 and here. Those are said to be perpendicular. And the slope of the first, I'll call this L1, will be the opposite reciprocal of the slope of the second, which I'll call L2. So I'll write that down. For perpendicular lines, that is, two lines that meet at 90-degree angles, and the notation for that is an upside-down T. The slopes of those two lines must be opposite they also must be reciprocal. Let's illustrate that with an example. So let's say, I'm going to just take a stab in the dark. I'll say that this has a slope, L1 has a slope, M denotes slope, of 3. Well, then the slope of line 2, which I'll call M2, is going to have to be opposite, so that'd be negative, and the reciprocal, which would be 1/3. Not just negative, or opposite, and not just the reciprocal. Perpendicular lines have opposite and reciprocal slopes. Notice this is negative, that's positive, and then this is the reciprocal of that. That's all you need to know about perpendicular lines and lines in general.